that they are so
So
back in this game. 5 eliminations.
I love how we're just getting these little mini 1v1s who got very trying to catch up get high. But they're also scared to pull the trigger because if you miss, then there's that reload time where you're vulnerable to getting jumped on.
Oh yeah.
Explore up on the high ground here. We have Vanvo, but Vanvo does finally hit the ground, so it's Explore versus Get High and Jonah. If they can finish it off, will get picked up, but no! That's gonna be it. So Rora, it's not gonna be 3-3, it's gonna be 2-4 for our match score.
Yeah.
So WAG still got a lot of work to do, but I think Rora breathing a sigh of relief, knowing that this game is no longer as close as it potentially could have been.
And this time BRU are more than ready for T-Quake. We saw that Valiant Dash being used to bust through the glue walls and trying to take down some members of BRU, but it was a 3-on-1. BRU tripled up on him. If they can't beat it 1v1, they might as well make it unfair. And this initial shot, Get High. That one was preordained. You would see your opponents run up the stairs like that. It was a clean shot. They do bring it back up. Here comes the overhead hit. T-Quake doesn't get hit, has the time to back off, and now another rush through. The red time rhythm was a bit late. T-Quake, another opener onto Wasana, and finally Get High to T-Quake with 2-piece. You leave him alone, he gets to work magic.
And Get High, he is now being held hostage by WAG and will be taken down. Oh, Moshi and Jonah, they have a mountain to climb. If they're going to try and take this game and force that 5th game victory for themselves. Vanguard and Explore, though, ready to receive Jonah whenever he's ready to try and go for that jump, but I don't know, there's also a lot of pressure on Moshi to try and perform. Explore, though, does get clipped by Moshi and will be eliminated. So step 1 of this comeback plan being set into motion. WG, they still have to respect the players left on the side of the Warrior because just because you have a numbers advantage, it doesn't mean you've won the game yet. Jonah's there, T-Quake throws a shot down, does quite a bit of damage. Moshi also receiving some damage himself, trying to run away from the blue wall. It's finally melted, and he will finally get clipped there thanks to Vanvo. And all that's left is Jonah, all by himself, having to hide on that staircase. But I think we might have been able to do it here with WAG to force round number 8 and to change that scoreline to 3-4.
Once more, T-Quake getting the opener. That Valiant Dash has really paid off in a lot of these situations. And when it works out, we see the impact that he has. Even BRU, as sharp as they are, sometimes struggle to react to the variant. This is one of those examples.
Yeah, and I think it also goes to show why Oscar is a high priority ban for a lot of the teams in Clash Squad. Like, just the ability alone, it kind of acts as like multiple abilities, right? Like, it's a dash, it's a way to break glue walls. There's only so many characters that can do what Oscar does, but then you kind of have to combine two. T-Quake going to be leading the charge here. Oh boy, he has been taken out as of yet though. Really great juking so far as Wasana did have to back on out alongside Get High. And you can see they are so afraid of T-Quake every time he runs in. Warram just going for a full retreat as Moshi takes half of his health and damage.
That respect given when it's due for sure. The BRU, they're going to take the time to heal back out. Moshi uses the last medkit that he has in his inventory. Wasana runs out of glue wall. Economy not looking the best. I think if
whole lot
Usho, that one does go wide. This one needs to connect. It's not worth to take the shot. It's not easy.
No, it's not. Circle is coming in. So eventually these players are going to have to jump onto that low ground. Explore does take some damage, but nothing too critical, so he's going to be in position to provide support for the team. Throwing grenades up onto that high ground. T-Quake's the next one to go down. Next up is Vanvo. Wasana though jumping into a fight there with T-Quake. Both players on the ground, but Moshi's also been thanks to please one.
Get High with overhead onto Vanvo to equalize the score a little bit. T-Quake finally getting dropped. And now it's down to X4, PLS1. Can they save this, the state of this game? Get high. Jonah X4! One delivery! Mid-air! And it's down to Jonah now, the captain of BRU, to stem the bleeding, and it is not possible. WAG finds the equalizer.
4-4. And I think a lot of us were expecting this to potentially be a Buriram's round, but man, WAG are putting in the work with the roster that they're given, what resources that they were given in the early game, and they are just ripping Buriram to shreds. Now, obviously, it is not a convincing game yet. These matches can go either way, but it's really coming down to the execution of some of these key players on both sides, and especially on the WAG. T-Koi, he has played such a pivotal role in creating these openings for his teams to follow through. So as long as he's allowed to do whatever he needs, whatever he wants to do, we're basically at the mercy of this Oscar. So all eyes on T-Koi so far, and you can see even Buriram, all of them are watching T-Koi's movements, trying to decide how do we react to this.
Yeah, T-Koi has been instrumental.
So instrumental in these crucial rounds. It's not to say that the rest of WAG aren't pulling their weight, but T-Koi definitely was the catalyst for that. And it's reached a point where even when T-Koi goes down, WAG was still able to recover with the remaining members. That's how far ahead they've gotten.
Still a very tense moment. And Wasana almost went to make the first move, but both players, T-Koi and Wasana, throwing up the blue balls to try and change the terrain in their favor. X4 though going to be going into his mannequin form. Jonas who get high Wasana. And this circle is getting incredibly small now. Please are playing on the low ground. The rest of the team, they're going to be trying to come in from that sideline. They managed to try and get high. They will isolate him and get rid of him. Wasana going to try and go for Please One in the back lines. He did not get the one tap though. Wasana will be going down into thanks to T-Koi. Please One is somehow still alive. Moshi to follow. And now it's all up to Jonah. But with how things are going, WAG are about to take this first game against Buriram United Esports.
Wow, patience is a virtue for WAG. And once more, WAG delivers on that end. They play slow, they play patiently, and once the iron is hot enough, they strike when BRU least expected. And now one more round, WAG are going to lead the series. We say that there's a
Okay, deep run there for X4, running into Buriram territory to see if he might be able to get a cheeky snipe, and he may have just caught whiff of someone there. But at the moment, he's going to be focusing on vision rather than trying to go for any cheeky plays. Back to his mannequin, still looking. But as you can see, both teams really just trying to find their entry point in, and as safely as possible, especially for Buriram as well, because they need to force another game. They need to win this one, and then they have to win another match right after this if they want to take game number one. So they are grouping up a little bit more tightly so that they can provide support to each other, and that Moshi can still provide cover fire as well, because Moshi's had a really tough game this series. He's really struggled to provide that support fire because he's always watching out for X4. He might be trying to go for that backstab. But the rooftop has been occupied here by Buriram and WAG. They are on the ground floor. And Husky, I don't know about you, but is this where you really want to be?